Back to another album review. Today's review is on Shangri-La Dee by Stone Temple Pilots. Now, this is the fifth album by STP, and this is the band's last album to be produced by Brenden O'Brien. It was also their last studio album to be completed before they split up in 2003. They got back together in 2008, but that's a story for another day. And this album was recorded by Nick Dadia at the Malibu House in Malibu, California. Carly Ziegler helps Nick out. Brenden O'Brien mixed the album as Southern Tracks in Atlanta, but he had help from Carl Ziegler and Ryan Williams. The album was mastered by Bob Ludwig at Gateway Mastering. Cheryl Mondello and Aaron Haley served as production coordinators. The album was released on June 19th, 2001 on Atlantic Records. This album still has elements of grunge and hard rock, but also includes elements of neo-psychedelia, psychedelic rock, psychedelic pop, and even power pop to an extent. Now let's talk about the songs. The intro to this album is Dumb Love. The track is mostly in the realm of hard rock. It's also written by Dean DeLeo. Now, the next track is Days of the Week, which was released as a single on January 1st, 2001. Scott Weiland wrote the lyrics about how his heroin addiction had an impact on his relationship with his second wife, Mary Forsberg. The song itself is by far the most poppy-sounding song by STP, which explains why it ventures into power pop. Now, Scott Weiland and Brenden O'Brien were on keyboards when this track was being recorded. There is a music video that was made, and I'm including a link in the description. After that is Coma. It's one of my favorite tracks from this album, and it was written by the DeLeo brothers. It also touches upon hard rock. Next up is Hollywood Bitch, which was released as a single on September 3rd, 2001. This is my overall favorite song from the album. Robert DeLeo plays both the guitar and the bass guitar on this track, though his brother Dean is still serving as lead guitarist. Also, the single has 3 B-sides. Revolution, which is a cover of the song by the Beatles, Bipolar Bear, and a live version of Tripping on a Hole in a Paper Heart. More on Bipolar Bear later. Next up is Wonderful. Robert wrote this track, and he plays electric guitar, acoustic guitar, bass guitar, and keyboards. Eric Kretz is also on keyboards. He's kind of pushed the track into the category of psychedelic rock, even psychedelic pop to an extent. He followed up with Black Again. This track has Robert on piano while Brenden was on keyboards. That's followed up by Hello, It's Late. It's the second song on the album to have Robert on acoustic guitar. Also, he and Brenden were both on keyboards. And a music video was made for the song, and I'm including a link in the description. What comes next is Too Cool Queenie. This is the second track on the album where Scott was on keyboards. Comes after that is Regeneration, which I personally think is among the best songs on the album. It's also the third and final track on the album where Scott was on keyboards. The song after that is Bipolar Bear. I already mentioned that this track was a B-side on the Hollywood Bitch single. It's also the fourth and final track on the album where Brenden was on keyboards. It also features Robert on the auto harp and Eric on the banjo. The following track is Transmissions from a Lonely Room. Robert plays an electric sitar, which pushes this track into the direction of neo-psychedelia. After that is a song for sleeping. It's the third and final track on the album to have Robert on acoustic guitar. The finale of this album is The Long Way Home. Personally, I think this is the best track to end the album with. When researching this album, I read that it peaked at number 9 on the Billboard 200. It was certified platinum by the RIAA by selling over 500,000 copies in the US. This album wasn't as commercially successful as its predecessors, but it was still considered a success. The majority of the critics who reviewed this album gave it positive reviews. It's just that the Rolling Stone album guide didn't like it. This just proves that Rolling Stone can't be taken seriously. Now for my thoughts. I have noticed that this album has a softer sound compared to its predecessors. The band members, with the exception of Dean DeLeo, were also playing different instruments on some of the songs than they normally do. I also like that Brenden O'Brien performed on some of the tracks. Overall, I highly recommend this album. Now, this part where I question you. Have you listened to Shangri-La Dee? If so, what do you think about it? What's your favorite song from it? How do you feel about the different instruments that were used during the recording sessions? Let me know in the comments. If you like the video, be sure to like, share, and subscribe. Be sure to press the notification bell to notify future videos. Thanks for watching, and fuck Valentine's Day.